Good afternoon and welcome to Opera Lounge at Check the Gate. I am Chen Reiss and my guest today is one of the most influential and respected leaders in the opera world. Director of the Vienna State Opera and Sovrintendente of Teatro alla Scala. I welcome Dominique Meyer.
Hello.
Bonjour Dominique.
Bonjour Anne. It's good to see you. Ça va très bien.
Thank you so much for joining me today to my show. I am very excited. And I would like to congratulate you for the honorary membership that the Vienna Philharmonic Orchestra has awarded you on Friday. How did you feel when you stood on the stage of the Musikverein to receive this award?
First of all, I did never stay on the stage of the Musikverein before, so it was strange with only 100 people in the audience. But it was very moving because, you know, it's almost the conclusion of a long story. I work with the Vienna Philharmonic since so many years. I started with them in the year 1999 when I was leading the Théâtre des Champs-Élysées. They already performed my first concert as a presenter with Pierre Boulez that time. Then we did 30 symphony concerts there, and they played a very great role in my story because they spoke to me about the Vienna State Opera. Yeah, I couldn't imagine that this would be possible, but one evening I remember exactly the date was on March 17, 2007 at 7:30 p.m. It was after the rehearsal of Telemann concert, Bruckner number 8, and two important players of the orchestra came to me and they said, look, the Austrian government is looking for somebody to run the opera and we would like you to go. So that was the beginning of the second part of the story. And finally, here in Vienna, we did almost 3,000 shows.
Wow.
I saw maybe 1,000 rehearsals. As you know, I like to be in the rehearsals, in the first row of the auditorium. So
in the first row.
Yes, always. It is not to make any control. It's just like it's because I like to stay with them, and also you are closer to the stage and to the artist. And of course, it was moving because, you know, this honorship is not something that they give every week. I'm only the second opera director in the story of Vienna to get this thing. The first was Richard Strauss. So Richard Strauss and me.
You are in good company.
Yeah, and as much as I know, I was when I came, I had some requests to the orchestra because we wanted to do a chamber music cycle, which we did finally. And also I wanted them to play for the famous opera ball, and they invited me to the general meeting that they do and the general assembly, because as you know, it's like a republic, so they decide everything in big meetings. For instance, who conducts, not at the Vienna State Opera, of course, that was me, but as a symphonic orchestra, and I think I was the second director to be invited to such a meeting. The first one was Gustav Mahler. So it was a funny story. So I do not make any confusion between me and Gustav Mahler and Richard Strauss, but I think the story is funny from time to time.
So maybe you are writing an opera?
No, 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 no. On in this case, I'm on the side of Gustav Mahler. He didn't write any opera. He just corrected, finished one opera by Weber, the Tres Pintos, but he didn't write an opera. No, it's only a joke.
And will this relationship continue also when you go to La Scala?
You know, of course, I remember exactly, you know, the first time I met the orchestra. I was a student. It was at the Théâtre des Champs-Élysées. I had a very cheap ticket. I should run in the steps just to have a seat with a view. And Carl Boehm was conducting the three last Mozart symphonies, and I was moved by the sound. When I went out with my brother, I didn't want to see anybody. I didn't want to speak with anybody, to hear anything. I was completely, yeah. It was a great moment, and I did never forget that sound. And I should wait for a long time to hear it again live, because I was a student that time. I couldn't travel so easily. And finally, for me, it's like a drug. And in the meantime, of course, I know all the players, their stories, their families. It's part of myself now. And of course, it's going to be difficult to not to hear them anymore every day. So, but I have invited them. They will come in my first season at La Scala on May 11th with Riccardo Muti. So
Wow.
It's going to be a great event in Milano.
Beautiful. And congratulations again for this wonderful award. Dominique, you have been general director of the opera in Paris.
Yes.
And you're completing now 10 years of director in Vienna. You're sovrintendente in La Scala. What are the differences between these three houses?
First, I think the first thing to understand is that the three cities are so different. Because, you know, I know very well Paris because I was there for 35 years, and around also the Théâtre des Champs-Élysées, as you know, 12 years. Paris is a very big city. It's like London and New York. So if you count everybody, you have 11 million inhabitants. So it's a big city. And of course, the opera is important, but not really in the center of the society. In France, they like mostly cinema, movies. They like yes. If you think in Paris, there are 500 screens.
Oh, wow.
And one sells more than 2 million tickets every year in France for cinema. So it's a very important thing. And the second thing are the exhibitions. So you have, for every big exhibition, you have between 800,000 and 1 million people visiting. For the rest, it's not safe. It's not stable. There are moments where the mood is for speaking theater. There are periods for ballet, for dance, modern dance. And there were periods where the opera was at the top. But it changes. So Vienna is completely different because the first thing is music. Vienna is a small city, is 1.8 million inhabitants. And with my colleagues from the other venues, we sell every night an average of 10,000 tickets for classical music. So I think it's the only town in the world where you sell more tickets for classical music than for football, for soccer. So very impressive. And of course, the symphonic music is important, chamber music is important, but opera is more important. It's really in the center of everything. Just the building is in the center of the city. Here we do 300 performances a year. 200 performances of opera, 50 ballet evenings, and a lot of different operas. the tradition of that opera house is to play what we call repertory. That means that we play an average of 45 to 50 different titles every year. In Paris, it's the other system is stagione. They do 15 to 18 pieces, and they do not alternate in the same rhythm than here. Here is every close day really a problem. So you're not allowed to close. You need to play every day. If not, they're not happy. So, and but in Paris it's normal, and it happens also that the two houses of the Paris Opera are closed same time. So nobody complains. It's like that. In Paris, I think in the history the ballet was always at the top, very important. For the opera, it depends. There are periods. So, what happened? Let's say at the end of the 20th century is that the Paris Opera was not alone anymore, because we did a lot of shows at the Champs-Élysées, the Châtelet, the City Hall, and this Opéra Comique were also performing operas. And I remember when I was working there was a very happy period, because we had a very good situation between the directors. We could speak about the projects in order not to have the same repertory. And I think in that time, let's say between 2000 or a bit before till 2010, we performed every type of music. I was specialized at the Champs-Élysées more on Baroque pieces with all the big names. I think we performed 39 Handel operas, not 38.
Wow.
So it was a world record. But also Lully, Rameau, Purcell, Monteverdi, the whole cycle, Cavalli, Cesti, everything. The Paris Opera was performing mainstream big operas with big stars, always sold out houses. Also Châtelet, they had brilliant seasons. And I think from Monteverdi, the very early time of the opera history to today, you could see about everything. So. Milano is again not a big city. It is a city that has almost the same number of inhabitants like Vienna, but La Scala is more important than anything. You know, they have a ranking in Italy of the brands, and La Scala is number 2. The first is Ferrari. So we are not running as fast as Ferrari, but almost. What's really impressive is that the La Scala gets a strong support from the economy. So, as you know, sponsoring is not very important here in Vienna. So here, in Vienna, what's really important is the box office, but sponsoring is not very high, because the laws are not very positive for that. But at La Scala, about 1/3 of the budget is sponsoring, and the big companies, big Italian companies, give a lot of money to support La Scala. Again, it's different from Vienna, because it is stagione, so we perform between 12 and 15 different operas. I think 15 is too much. You know, I think you have to respect the history and the tradition of one opera house. It's the personality of each opera house that you have to respect. When I came here, I had no experience of this repertory system, but I think this is the thing that you have to do, because also the law says that you have to do it. So,
okay.
Yes, so you're not free, but I thought it was a very interesting experience. I loved it.
And you touched on the subject of stagione and repertoire,
Yes.
repertory system. The repertory system requires a big ensemble.
Yes.
What is, in your opinion, the importance of an ensemble for the house?
Well, I think as long as you have a big range of different titles to play and enough evenings to perform, I think the ensemble is a very, very good solution. It's the best solution because I think it wouldn't be possible to raise a very high level without an ensemble. The difference is that the ensemble, the system. Singers are employed by the house. They have a contract for the whole year, and of course, it can be a very good thing. It can be a horrible thing. I know ensembles where the singers are obliged to do and do and do and more, and I do not like that. Of course, here in Vienna, for me, it was very, very nice experience because we could hire all the major singers of the world as guests, and they came, everyone came, with the who's who of the international book of singers. But same time, we had this ensemble with almost two types of singers. There were singers that are here for the whole life. Most of them sing all the short roles. I do not like to say the small roles because I think you need everyone. And the glory of the Vienna State Opera is that also short roles can be interpreted by first class singers. Of course, these members, they know the pieces that we have to play, so this enables that you have a shorter period of rehearsals because they know, they have their costumes, they have their shoes, they know how to play every production, and this is a great advantage. The other part of this ensemble, these are singers that are almost young, and it was my favorite game to find new people, and this is magical in a way because you spend so much time hearing so many singers. I hear an average of more of 800 singers every year. So
wow.
Yeah, and I hire maybe 5 or 6, not every year. So, and of course, you can think that from time to time it's boring because you hear a lot of singers and not everyone is very good. That's logical. But I think it's just like if you go for mushrooms, it is not that you find one mushroom every day, but anyway, you make a good trip and a nice trip, and you enjoy it. And when somebody comes out and with really a talent, it makes such an effect, and you're simply happy because when the singer comes onto the stage, you hope, I think maybe, and then after a few bars, maybe you're disappointed, or you think it's maybe this person could be a good singer but not really adapted for Vienna State Opera because we expect to have very high level. From time to time, you have very good singers, but maybe the size of the voice is not enough for a big house. This acoustic, which is not easy. There are also traditions here in Vienna. They like louder voices, so I should adapt because my taste was the opposite. But anyway, once you have found somebody, then the job is to help this person to come into the career step by step, and they start with very small roles, and from time to time they're surprised because I give small roles. I remember Aida Garifulina, for instance, she won the Domingo competition, and she was very surprised and not very happy because her first role was Giannetta in Elisir d'Amore, and she was disappointed. I said, look, Giannetta is a short role, but you can hear very well if somebody is good. You have to, as you know, Elisir d'Amore is not an opera where we do stage rehearsals. So you will come for the first time onto the stage just to sing with the orchestra down in the pit, and conductor in front of you and 2,300 people. So it can be impressive. And I said, look, you will do 2-3 times Janetta, and then you will sing Musetta, but second company, not first, because I think first is too dangerous. I said, why? She said, why second company? I said, because again, you will not have a rehearsal on the stage. We rehearse in this rehearsal rooms with parts of the sets, but not the real set. And I said, with the lights, maybe you can miss the door, the entrance. It can be dangerous. So second, the second cast is less tension. It's not dangerous then. Finally, after the first Elisir d'Amour, she came to me and said, "Oh, you were right. Thank you." And many singers started with little roles. So, and our job is to help them to climb step by step, not to put them in a dangerous situation, because we do not want them to get the situation of a star after 2 performances. I don't care about that. Mm-hmm. I think you have to learn your job and to be well prepared, and I think this is the most beautiful part of my job. And, in a few days, we'll have a gala here with all the major singers that I've found in the last years, and many of them they made great careers. They're invited in every major opera house, and this is, you know, I feel like if my son would be a singer and make a debut, and I have no stress. I'm never nervous, as you know, but I can be nervous if somebody I like makes a debut. This is a very strange impression. I like that, and I will miss the ensemble. Because you know, you see these people almost every day, and you're afraid when they make something that can be dangerous, and when you know that maybe the singer is not completely healthy, or if one note is a bit of a problem for him or for her, you can. It can come tension, but I think it's a delicious feeling when they come to the stage for the bow and they are successful. I think it's beautiful. There are many things I remember. For instance, we have a South African black mezzo soprano, Bongiwe Nakani. I will always remember. She started in Butterfly. She did the second role. And when she came at the curtain for the bow, she had a great success. And for that role, it's not always the case, because people are not very interested in Suzukis. They wait for Cho-Cho-san and for the tenor to come.
Of course.
And she had a big applause. Really, as you know, in Vienna, it can be very loud. And she was so shy. She stayed 1 second, and she left like a little mouse. I said, no. Bongi, please, I do not want you to stay for 2 hours, but 10 seconds. Enjoy and be grateful to the audience. Don't be shy. So that also you have to give to them this education.
Yeah. This is really a very special feeling that you gave all of us. I remember my debut was as Waldvogel. I wasn't even on stage.
Yeah. Yeah. But I think it's correct like that.
Oh yeah, it was. Correct. I was quite nervous because it was with Telemann and it was recorded for Deutsche Grammophon, and there was one performance, so I had.
There was one performance, and no option for corrections, nothing. Yes, it was a tricky thing.
But
I like that. Debut, even in a small role. Many times. When I stayed in my box, I was more interested in a tiny role because somebody was starting than in the major roles, because of course the big singers we enjoy, but we know them, and it's a different feeling. And I like also another part of the job, because to be a singer is not easy, and these people, they come For instance, Valentina Nafarnica, she came here, she was 22, she had no experience, she did nothing before, she hadn't done anything. Or Alessio Arduini, same day, same age, 22. So, and you have to teach them how to live. No? We have a wonderful tenor, Chinese tenor, you know, he's extremely gifted. But and he came straight, he was 20, he came from China. He didn't speak any word of German, of English. I didn't know how he understood that I was inviting him to join the company. He's a miracle for me. And I remember when he came here, he started to eat. I said, you have a wonderful voice, but I do not want you to look like Luciano once you will be 25. So I said, breakfast, first Wiener Schnitzel cancelled. Midday, the 2 next Wiener Schnitzel cancelled. Evening, the 3 last Wiener Schnitzel cancelled. Wiener Schnitzel once a week.
Right.
So it's the type of thing that you have to do. And I have always also requests about agents because people complain about the agents, and many times it's for good reasons. Many times it's not for good reasons. So you have to explain, and spend time. And what I liked is that there were not many cases of jealousy.
That's
Could happen, but
yes.
I think there were 2 things that I have liked. One was there was no jealousy, and the second was that we had singers coming of all the part of the world. And, there is this issue these days about racism, and we had a lot of black singers, and we had singers coming from China, from Korea, from Japan. And it was very really beautiful, and different religions, and no big problems. I think that was very positive. I think that the opera world should be more open. You do not need to be white to sing very well abroad, and it's a great fan of this atmosphere about black faces, for instance. This is just fake attitude. But I think the real thing is that we have to hire the best singers, and I was happy to see that we could follow this movement, you know, because 20 years ago there were no singers in China. Now you have plenty of good singers. Recently, I was head of the competition Neue Stimmen, Bertelsmann, Germany. Again, it was a Chinese tenor, Long. He's wonderful. He won. He's wonderful. If I had been staying here, he would be in Vienna now. And you have this wonderful generation of South African singers. I don't know what happened there, but there should be very, very good teachers, because they are wonderful singers, really. And of course, from time to time, at the beginning, it's difficult for several of them to understand the rules, that you have to come on time, that you have to be prepared. There are rules in that society, and I have the feeling of daddy. So you have to explain to the children what are the rules of that society. I like it. It's a very interesting job.
And we have a lot of singers and fans of the Vienna State Opera who are listening to us, and they are all commenting, and they say, thank you, Dominique, for bringing such great voices to Vienna, and for all your support. We are all very, very grateful. And Dominique, we live in very specific time now, with an unprecedented impact on the performing arts. What do you think are the dangers, maybe possibilities, that we are facing?
No, for the moment, there are a lot of dangers. First, I see that very important companies are in danger. The situation, for instance, of Covent Garden, They are not sure that we open. This is a tragedy.
Yeah.
The second is the Metropolitan in New York and many American companies. So this is a very tricky period. I think that many governments didn't behave very well for culture because they spoke of everything, but not about culture. And they do not see, because they all said that they have to be concentrated on the most important, and culture is not really the most important. I do not agree. I think in these times, culture is very important. We spoke about racism. Who were the people that started to speak about that? Was the artistical world.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, because they have a conscience and they try to work to get a better world. And I think I see developments of the society that are not positive. Look, for instance, here in Vienna, after the Second World War, 3 weeks after the end of the war, the Vienna State Opera, although the theater was destroyed, the Vienna State Opera performed Le Nozze di Figaro in another venue. With a great beginner, there was a young singer called Senayuri Nats.
Ah.
She made her debut as Cherubino 3 weeks after the end of the World War. And there were tickets for the food. There were two sorts: the normal one and the tickets for workers, heavy workers, the most important. They were better, those tickets. And the workers of the opera, they got these tickets. Today, they wouldn't get anything. So I think this is a situation, and I think it's a wrong choice, because opera is very important. Culture is very important for the soul, for the intelligence of the people, for the population. But also in this city, in this country, it is a very important matter in the economic world. Just consider that State Opera fills every night an average of 7 complete hotels. So 200,000 nights in the hotels in Vienna every year. And see, for instance, the situation of a city like Salzburg. What would be Salzburg? In what situation would be Salzburg without a festival? So yeah. I think one has to open the eyes. Opera and culture are very important. And I think that the politicians should think about that. And they do a mistake because these are wrong decisions, but they are also not very clever decisions, because here culture is very popular. I always think in this city, music is popular like in no other place in the world. I see, I'm only the opera boss, but I can't go for a walk without to be spoken 10 times, and always lovely and nice and positive. So I think if they make the good decisions, they can be more popular.
Yes.
And because people are not jealous, they want that. So and I think they should open the eyes.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think it's true also for a city like London or New York. A lot of the tourists are coming for the theater there as well.
Of course. Of course.
And you were talking before about the subject of financing, the difference between the Vienna State Opera and La Scala. So in Vienna, the house receives subsidy from the state.
Yeah, almost the half of the budget is paid by the state.
Yeah. Do you think, based on your knowledge, will this system be successful also in the future, or will there be more private funding necessary?
But this is not an easy issue, because first here also in America, they say this is private funding. This is true in a way, but it's also because there is a tax cut system. Here there is no tax cut system, so it's not the same way. But you know, here there is not a big tradition of sponsoring. We have two major sponsors at the Vienna State Opera. One is Toyota, it's not really Viennese. The second is OMV. This is the main company for gas. And this is a lot because this is the reason is that the boss is very positive, and he thinks that that the economy should give more support to the culture. This Herr Seele is a fantastic person, but there's no big tradition in this country. Because people think that they pay their taxes, and the state has to make his job. So I don't care. I think every system is good, and I think, in my opinion, this is a duty of the state to do it. Mm-hmm. Like the schools, like the hospitals. I think is very important. For instance, I was shocked because last year we had 150 years Vienna Opera. I was proud because we could finance everything with private funds, but yeah, the whole thing. It was not very easy to find people to do it because we have close friends and they helped us. But you know, in another way, I was a bit sad because I thought this is a very important thing, and we are not a little sport organization of a suburb. We are the Vienna State Opera. This is the name, and what we have to do is written in a law. So I think a symbolic point of view, would have been good to be supported also by the state. I'm not a great fan of this idea that we should leave everything to the private donors. Mm-hmm. I'm old Europe.
Thank you, Dominique. And on a lighter note, I have to admit that I really enjoy your live show, Conversazioni sul Teatro.
Because you do the same, huh?
I want to ask you, how important will be the digital stage for the performing arts?
I think it's a reality. So now, of course, in this period, we couldn't perform. We can't really perform. So, and we have to find systems to keep in touch with our audiences, and for me, in Milano was also a good thing because the audience doesn't know me, so I'm only a name, and I do not want to come every day with my curriculum and the great things that I have done before, but I prefer that they understand who I am by those talks with artists. You know, each time there is a change for an opera house, there comes a new director comes. People are sad because the former director leaves, and they do not know really the new one. So I think you have different possibilities to be in touch with your new audience. I think this is a good one. We have it also here in Vienna. We have made one broadcast every night of different operas because we have created this system in 2013, and we broadcast with our system every year 45 performances, so that we have a big collection of tapes. And we thought, of course, if people can't come to the theater, then we go to them. This is also a thing. I was not very supported when I started to do that. Until today, I was not supported. But I thought it was a very good thing to be independent, and since the crisis began, we have reached far more than 2 million people. So it's good. It's a good number, yes. And in different countries, and so I do not have the exact statistic now, but I think it's a big number of people. I think it's positive, but of course there are initiatives, there are new things, but you know the real thing is to perform in a concert hall, in an opera house, and to hear the real sound of the music, of the voices, to see the stage. And in my opinion, an opera performance is a way to be together. Now, tomorrow we'll start a program at the Vienna Opera for 100 people, which is terrible. You see that there was a demonstration with 25,000 people, so we are allowed to have 100 people in the auditorium. Okay, these are the rules. I respect the rules. I think if they decided to do that, they must have good reasons. But I think these are the really things that we can do in this period. But the real thing is to have 2,300 people having the same emotions in the same time, and I want them to have the same breath and the same explosion of happiness when the singers come for the bow. Opera is a way to be together. I did not decide that we need 98 people in the pitch for Elektra or Salome. That's Mr. Richard Strauss. And I did not decide that we need 100 people in the chorus for Don Carlo. That's Mr. Giuseppe Verdi. So, of course, there are temptations to do little tricks in those periods. You know, I can tell you, there will come somebody, stage director with moonshoes. I'm sure. I'm sorry, I do not like that because I think you can invent one trick like that once, but it's not the reality of our job. You're a singer. You're a very serious singer, precise, not only talented, but very, very serious. You know that many times you can work for hours just for one note, just to find the right color, the right accent, etc. So the expectations are very high, even if not anybody is able to understand what's happening. But I think our duty is to respect our art. I'm sure, I do not know if you saw the film of Woody Allen, where he discovers a tenor who's only able to sing under the shower.
Yeah.
And he wants to present him first. He doesn't know that he's only good when he's under the shower, and he's a disaster. Then he understands that this singer is only good when he's under the shower, and he puts a shower on the stage, and then Miliato sings, and he's good, and he makes a great success. You know, of course, it's a caricature, but almost there are such temptations. I think now we have to be patient to organize the start of our job. I think we need to be sure that the conditions are correct to start, but we have to be at the level of our art.
Yeah, and that requires, of course, training, and for us to rehearse together and
yes. Yeah.
under the conditions that we need. And I totally agree with you that nothing replaces the live experience. I was today at a concert with the Vienna Philharmonic, and when they started playing, I had really tears in my eyes because the beauty of the sound. I mean, I think I never heard music so beautiful, because my ears in the past months have gotten used to hearing music through digital devices, but nothing comes close to the real thing.
It touches you. I have made the same experience on Friday. And I was lucky because I could go back on Saturday. It was the same because they play so well. You know, the sound of
So well.
the sound of the Vienna Philharmonic in this concert hall. It works so well together. And of course, Jan Barenboim now knows the orchestra so well, the acoustics so well that it was a great concert. It was moving, and to hear them again after these months where we couldn't hear them and no live music was for me, it was a great moment, moving moment, exactly like you, because of course, you know, I have you see, I have a big collection of CDs, so
oh my God.
Yeah, but and I love that, and I couldn't live without that, but of course we missed the live music.
Yes, and I think there's also something very strong, especially now in Beethoven's year, to hear them play Beethoven, the Vienna Philharmonic in Vienna. I mean, I heard the Fifth Symphony so many times, but today it was goosebumps from beginning to end. You really could feel that Beethoven was there.
He was there, yeah. And yesterday, Daniel Barenboim told me, look, they have been playing for their life. So it was impressive. And you know, I like to make jokes with one of the leaders. Volkart Steude. He from time to time he gives so much energy that you have the impression that he will stand up. And these days you had the impression that the whole orchestra was going to stand up, only because of the energy. So it was just beautiful energy, but controlling the sound always, and it's great art. It's a fantastic orchestra.
Yes. Dominique, my last question. I kept you too long. I suppose you have many wonderful memories from the past 10 years in Vienna.
Yes.
Any special moment which you will cherish for many years to come?
Oh, a lot, and you know, I can revive that because I have it in my brain. But to be honest, I do never remember a complete performance. Of course, the global impression.
Yeah.
Like, for instance, when we did the Trojans, that was a great moment. But I like to remember about little tiny things. For instance, when Mr. Ottonsamer, the father, it was the solo clarinet, died a few years ago. When he played the Frühstücksszene of the Rosenkavalier, he had the habit to play a bit flat the high note, just to change the color. Wow, that was great art. Or when, for instance, Miss Sophie in the Rosenkavalier starts the duet. So these are moments you never forget. Or recently, last year, I hired a young soprano, Federica Guida, and she jumped in to sing the Queen of the Night, at the Vienna Opera, like a debut. She was not even 22, and she made a big success. And she was, you know, maybe she couldn't imagine that it was so difficult. And, I like these moments. Also, you know, I remember 1 year ago, I met Mr. Blader, is the manager of the Vienna Philharmonic, and he said, "Oh, by the way, why do we do a Tosca rehearsal this time?" And I said, "Because Mr. Bechala sings the role for the first time." And he said, "Ah, okay, I know. Okay, it's good." And then I went to the auditorium. I was sitting alone. Daniel Ottonsamer, the son of the former, played so beautifully the clarinet. And when Bechala sang for the first time, E lucevan le stelle, I thought, this is just unbelievable. And of course, you hide your tears. You have them. It happened so many times. Also, I remember same thing when Nina Stemme sang for the first time Brünnhilde in the third act of Siegfried. That was just to die. You never forget that. And, yes. Then you have things from time to time. from time to time, it's unexpected. I remember one evening I was not supposed to go to the performance with I don't know, the 200th barber of Sevilla, but we had a cancellation, a young tenor came, so I thought, okay, of course I go. And I had given my tickets to the box office, so to be sold, and I went in the direction box that is above the pit. Mm-hmm. I had a look on the pit also, so wow, the best soloist of the orchestra, could be good. The conductor, Spinozzi, came in, and he started, and after, I don't know, 5 bars, he noticed that he had the best possible orchestra, you know, all the best players. And it was like a festival performance, unexpected, beautiful, really beautiful, with great spirit on the stage. I remember also one evening when we did Frauen Schatten with Tillemann, I had 3 singers jumping in, and it's a very complicated show, and it was really wonderful because the Kaiserin was helping the Frau because she didn't know really, but she had one rehearsal. And it was just impressive to see how the colleagues were helping the singers that were coming just to save the show. These are great moments. I have a great collections of beautiful memories. What I also will keep is the spirit of that house. Because opera house, when you speak about an opera house, people think about a building. Mm-hmm. Of course, the building is important, but I think an opera house is 1,000 people working together. And this is the best possible crew. It's a wonderful crew. I had only joy with them, and the last part is but I think it's part of also this opera house is the audience. The audience here is incredible because this is a place where people burn for the opera. They love it, and they speak about it, and also, from time to time I see some colleagues that speak badly about the audience. They think that they have to teach. I think it's a big mistake, because you should give respect to your audience. This audience is extraordinary. I like to stay for the bows, just to see how they react. Most of the time, I would do the same. So I think they know exactly, and also, for instance, if somebody comes and is not really healthy, they know that. Yeah. And I had a few tricky situations, the type of situations that where you have to make difficult decisions when you know that somebody is in a bad situation, and also vocally not so super because of different reasons, health reasons, for instance. I made twice the same decision. I kept the singer, although I knew that maybe it was not. I could find maybe 20 better solutions, but these people were in trouble, and I was supported because the audience knew exactly the situation, and they were warm and friendly. I remember when Worstovsky came for the last time, he was singing Germont, he was deeply ill, but he wanted to do it once more. He should come with a stick, and he got a big applause when he came in, which is not normal for Germont, but all the audience knew exactly what the situation was, and they wanted to show him that they like him. So that's the marvelous thing about Vienna, and also, many years in Paris, I was happy when I had 5-6 minutes applause at the end of the performance. 6 or 7 minutes in Paris is big. If you go to the Met, as you know, many times, it's 1 minute, 2 minutes. Mm-hmm. Here, many times it's 10, 15, 20 minutes. I remember Elina Garancha and Anna Netrebko dancing behind the curtain, pizza, pasta, because they wanted to go to eat. They were happy to get a big bow, but they were hungry. Also, Domingo, many times I should close the Iron Curtain because people were willing to see him again and again and again. He's not the youngest man of the world. He was in the house since 5 hours, and he was tired. But he said, no, you have to stay as long as they want. Finally, I closed the curtain just to save him. That's the beautiful situation of the Vienna Opera.
Yes, the audience is very special, and then they wait for us in the stage door, which is incredible. It's fun.
But they welcome you the first rehearsal day. That's the funny thing. If we have new singers, they come with pictures. I don't know where they have found these pictures, maybe on the internet or something like that. But they are there just because they want to. They know that's the first day of the rehearsals of a new singer, and they want to welcome him or her. It's special.
It's very special. It's a magical house, and you have created a magical atmosphere for all of us to work. I would like to take this opportunity to thank you personally, and I think that many of my colleagues share these feelings of gratitude for your kindness, for believing in young talent and giving us the stage to do what we love doing the most.
But Ren, you gave me much more than I could give to you. This is the situation, because director is director. He can't sing, he can't conduct, he can't play. He's completely dependent of talents. And I was spoiled because I could have your support, and so I did only my job. But you gave us our talent and your energy and it was beautiful to work with all of you. And it's not finished. We can do it in other places.
Exactly. I wish you a wonderful farewell gala on the 27th of June. And of course, toi 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 for the future. And all the singers are writing that they are forever grateful. So thank you, Dominique.
Thank you. Thank you.
And bye bye.
See you soon.
See you soon.
I think I see you soon.
Yes. Bye bye.
Thank you. Bye bye.